Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. July 23rd, 2024. It's a Tuesday. Missed my Monday recording, but Tuesday morning here. Coffee's still working. I got the first cup though. It is a legal stimulant. Still legal. All right, so today I'm gonna put my curmudgeon hat back on, as I have throughout the time I've had the channel. And today I'm gonna pontificate on the issues in baseball. Baseball, being the national pastime for now anyway. I mean, maybe the NFL would be, if you really drew it up now, is far more popular than Major League Baseball. Not as many gimmicks over there, and that's kind of what the problem with Major League Baseball. One of the major problems with Major League Baseball is we got too many gimmicks. Rob Manfred, I'm going to refer to him for the rest of the video as Man Fraud. He's doing a lot of things that are gimmicky. When an American family, young family, because we're trying to get the youngins into the game, and that's cool. You take your kids out to a ball game. It's an experience. It's not a race. It's not, oh my God, must have a pitch clock. We must be done in less than 2 hours. Oh my God, frantic. No, people have frantic lives, and they want to take their kids out to a ball game. They want to relax for a while, and they want to feel part of something. They want to feel a sense of community. They want to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of civic pride, and they want to see a nice ball game. They want to teach their kids that which they were taught when they were kids. This is what baseball is meant to be. What it has turned into is a bunch of pitch clocks and huge video boards, and we got to put the miles per hour up and all this stuff. Man Fraud is ruining the game from my perspective. Now, I'm a purist to some degree, but it's hard to get romantic about baseball with a pitch clock. Now, with umpires that are trying to be part of the game more and more, instead of blending in, they're more confrontational. But the gimmicks are the things that bother me. The walk-in songs and the songs, the walk-up song. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Believe it or not. So for a purist, I'm awfully okay with all that stuff. Okay, but they're talking about robot umps next year. Holy mother of hell! No. You do realize that some idiot in New York can change the calibration from one game to the next of what's considered a strike and a ball with that robot umpire. They can still screw with the strike zone. It'll just be more consistently wrongly called. They need to legislate the strike zone they need to prosecute the strike zone the way it was legislated. Okay, they just do. If they called the higher strike, a lot of these guys that are backspinning the ball would get themselves out. The guys are trying to hit it over the fence every time they swing. So they would get themselves out. Okay? And I gotta tell you, 95 miles an hour up at your chest, you're not hitting that. Okay? That's what allows us some sanity. I'll also say, I also think that we need to take a strong look at either raising the mound, okay, and possibly maybe not raise the mound. I can give you that one, but we have to start looking at and moving the fences back, and making them a little higher, etc. I think that's a problem. Okay, the guys are bigger and stronger. And we'll get to that in a second. But if they're going to be bigger and stronger, these guys are hitting them. These guys are hitting pop flies that are going out. Now, again, recall the high strike, and that changes. You call a high strike basically mid abdomen, and you think that's a high strike. Now that's a batting tee. Okay, when these guys can backspin the ball, that ball's going. They just hit big flies. They're not even hitting the ball hard. So that these yards can't contain these guys. We need to start taking a look at maybe having 2 or 3 of these stadiums have 500 foot straight out the center. 475, something like that. Okay? Let's start looking at golf yardage. Rather than this other stuff. Sorry, the call coming in. So what we really need to take a look at is, getting back to the competitive balance. Towards that, because we address the strike zone, we address the dimensions, the PED situation, performance enhancing drugs. The players union is the fault for this. Okay. The players are kept one step ahead of the testing regimens at all times. Literally, the only dudes getting caught are the ones that are just too stupid to understand what's going on, or they don't invest the time to figure out what the correct masking agent is, or how many days they needed to wait. People on drugs, generally speaking, across the whole country, they know how long it takes to get something out of their system. Before they ingest something, they know what they have to do to mask it or to get it out of their system before a drug test. Now, what I would like to see them do is go to a regimen where they're getting surprise tests on a weekly basis. Sorry, you're hitting 50 home runs. And you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars a year, $20-30 million a year to hit balls out of a ballpark. The least I can ask is that you submit to weekly, to probably once or twice a week, from the standpoint of drug tests. There are a lot of people in the regular workplace. For example, truck drivers. They have to regularly submit to urine tests. You're not going to whine at me about that, are you? But what they're doing is they only get a surprise check here or there. They just once in a while catch a guy. But they're on such a schedule that these guys can easily get around it. The masking agents are 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps ahead of the people checking it. And I don't think Major League Baseball sufficiently cares whether they find them or not. To me, it's existential. The good of the game, you can't just use the record books like toilet paper, because that's what they're doing. They're basically saying the record books mean nothing. Okay? Because this game has become artificial. It's become ridiculous in this respect. Okay? There are way too many dudes that are using. And it's pretty freaking simple. See, in the early days, Barry Bonds, look at his head, the size of his head when he was in Pittsburgh. Look at his head when he got to San Francisco. Any questions? Okay. McGuire was the same thing. Canseco was the same thing. Brady Anderson was the same thing with the Orioles. There are things you can just see it. Okay? But now it's evolved. It also helped with recovery time, sure. And pitchers even started doing it, like Roger Clemens. So these guys would do these things to cheat the game. The worst thing they did in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s is to use uppers. Nothing that created a performance enhancement, but it just gave them more energy. Like It basically was like, it was a mood enhancer. That's the and that's bad enough, but that's the worst thing they come up with. These guys, they got freaking cocktails. They're, medicinal cocktails that they're using, and they're gaming the system. And you got guys like Altuve hitting balls out of ballparks. He's 5 foot. He's what? 5'1"? No, he's 5'6". Come on, dude. What are you trying to pull? But none of these people are getting caught because they're 3 steps ahead, and that really bothers me. So they really got to catch these people. The NFL does a good job of catching theirs. The other sports leagues do. Now, having said all that, there's an origin problem. When you look at the level of injury, particularly in our pitchers. There's a couple of problems. Let's work from the latest backward. Right now, to get a major league, to get signed as a minor league free agent, or to get drafted, we have to worship at the altar of velocity. Oh, he throw 95, he great. Not throw 95, you go stock shelf. And that's not going to work. These guys are doing unnatural things to their arms, to their shoulders, and to their joints, and to their ligaments. It isn't sustainable. We've got kids having Tommy John in high school. It isn't going to work. So velo is number one. Number two, and there's a place for advanced metrics. There's so many of them I can't pronounce half of them. And God bless them. Moneyball, great. It doesn't replace scouting. Advanced metrics, scouting, good team. Advanced metrics, no scouting, bad team. Yeah, that happened. So, spin rate is the one that gets on my nerves. The fastball is violent enough. Okay? Because you're really overextending the musculature in the arm at a young age. But now, the need for spin rate. We're talking sliders, cutters, things that pronate and tilt the hand. Do you feel like when you do this motion, feel your elbow? You feel how your elbow's flexing? Do that at full force and wonder why Tommy Johns aren't happening. And we do that with kids. We're requiring them because their advanced spin rate, their spin rate has to be stellar. It has to be elite to even get drafted. Jamie Moyer couldn't get drafted now. By the way, nowhere in this are we worried about location. We're not worried about a guy with great control who doesn't walk anybody. No, we don't give a crap about that. We'll just teach that later. As long as he doesn't throw the ball into the fifth row, Bull Durham like. I'm not Bull Durham, like in Major League. All good. He didn't kill anybody with that one. But we're worried about spin rate. So then we get the complex that is youth sports sees what the Holy Grail is and says, oh, we must teach it. So now we've got 12-year-olds, 11 and 12-year-olds throwing sliders. Their arms aren't even developed. The capsules aren't developed. The ligaments aren't developed. The muscles are certainly not developed. And we're teaching them bad habits. And yes, you can use those pitches and get a lot of outs against 11 and 12-year-olds. Good job. That's like me entering a it's like me going to the Paralympics and entering the 100-yard dash. using my regular legs. Congratulations, you won, but weren't you supposed to? You're throwing breaking stuff at kids that don't even have pitch recognition yet. They don't even know how to hit yet. And then you're a stud because you can throw a slider. Oh, you're really a big stud when you're 16 years old and you're supposed to be in school, but you're recovering from Tommy John. We've really done our kids dirty. So to me, we got to get back to where fastball, changeup, period. Don't even throw a cutter until you're at least 15, 16 years old. Teach them how to locate. Teach them how to change speeds. Not throw as freaking hard as you can in the first inning and try to last 5 innings. No. Learn how to pitch. That is not being taught anymore. Changing speeds, changing the ferocity of the grip. Harder grip, harder pit, more velo. Using the changeup off of the fastball. These kids shouldn't be throwing curves yet either. You should be throwing nothing but a changeup and a fastball up to the age of about 15 or 16. Period. They're ruining the game. And this is something that really bothers me. Because they're ruining people's lives. And what baseball has done is said, we'll just get insurance on these guys. That's okay. I mean, we're going to ruin their lives. By the time they're 40 years old, they're going to wake up in the morning and like everything's going to ache. Their arm's going to like to the point they can't even lift their arm, or they can't throw a ball anymore, or they can't do things with their family. Once they retire, I mean, we've got our use out of them. And if they get Tommy John, we got insurance for that. And we'll just, like, if the contract number, we're throwing all this money at this guy and he ends up losing his career, we got insurance for that. They'll pay us a lot of that salary. Major League Baseball doesn't give a rat's behind. Hard not to curse. I'm annoyed by this. Okay, they owe these kids. They're more than just a product. They're not inventory. They're people. And nobody's paying attention to what's happening to these guys after they retire. These guys getting Tommy Johns when they're 14 and 15 and 16. And they finally do make the show, if they do. A lot of them don't because of it. But the ones that have had multiple arm surgeries, shoulder surgeries, they're disfigured. They're disfigured for the rest of their lives. And as they get older and older, they get more arthritis than most people. And things of that nature. All because we had to worship at the god of velo and spin rate. It's an absolute cluster, you-know-what, as far as what the game has turned into. I would like to see Manfred step down. It ain't happening anytime soon. The owners love him. They're making lots of money. But he's ruining the game. One last thing is the betting on baseball thing. I am incensed by this. Okay? Major League Baseball makes money from DraftKings and from FanDuel. They make money from them. Hold that thought. Pete Rose never bet against his team. He never threw a game. See, the Black Sox scandal, when they threw the World Series, they actually threw the World Series. They bet against themselves and collected. And by the way, Shoeless Joe Jackson was actually cleared of all charges. Career 350 hitter, not in the Hall of Fame. Why? They're getting money from DraftKings. They're getting money from FanDuel. Hypocritical much? Methinks. Pete Rose, most hits in the career. Mr. Hustle. Never bet against his team. Not one time. Banned. But they're getting money from FanDuel and DraftKings. And a lot of it, by the way. The hypocrisy could be sliced with a knife. And it's something I'm having a tremendous amount of difficulty with. Not enough to leave the game because I love the game. There's very little that can compare to a warm summer night with your family, the bottom of the ninth, in a scoreless game, and you got a runner in scoring position. Just the energy in the middle of a pennant race. Just the whole atmosphere. Just all of it. Just there's nothing like it. Period. There's not enough of that. There's too many 9-8 games. And there's too many gimmicks. And the way the game is being judged, the way the game is being adjudicated, who's allowed to be in, who's not. This inability to look at overall talent versus the raw spin rate and velo, things like that. Just all of that together, it frosts me. It really upsets me, and I don't see an answer until man fraud's out, and maybe the game has to decline in popularity, and people realize that the idiotic crap that they've been doing isn't working, right? And by the way, we don't need expansion. We already don't have enough pitching. There's not enough quality pitching in Major League Baseball. If they put 2 more teams out there with 2 more minor league systems underneath them, we're looking at having the average pitcher maybe a AA caliber pitcher. If you look on a historical basis, like we're already at AAA. They need to contract some teams. Okay? And we need to start drafting. We need to start drafting people that can locate. We need the people that can change speeds. Not stare at a speed gun. That the gun, like the mile per hour thing, should not be up on any stadium anywhere in North America. Period. Done. End of story. I don't know why we have in this trial. Get rid of it. The guy's sitting there trying to hit triple digits because he's a stud. 100 miles an hour just means it leaves at 110 when it goes out of the ballpark. That's all it means. You throw 100 miles an hour dead straight, it's going the other way in a hurry. That's all it means. Okay? But a guy that can change speeds, that throws maybe mid-90s, but sits in the low 90s, throws his off-speed stuff in the 80s, he won't have his arm hanging off by the end of the season every year. And he knows how to pitch. Maybe see this guy, Greg Maddux. He knows stuff. Maybe look him up a little bit. And Smoltz. These guys back in the 90s that were really, really good, which is about the end of quality pitching, was the late 90s. There have been a few, but I'm saying the depth of quality pitching, it's just gone now. There's always a few. There ain't many. Today, you look at guys like Verlander. He's learned how to pitch. There's others, but there aren't many. There aren't many at all. And it's scary. It's really scary. And the things these guys are having to do to their hands, and like I said, concentrate on your elbow when you make these moves. And then do the torque. And then in the end, they're torque with high torque. They're making these changes. Okay? And then feel how much pressure that puts on your elbow. Now go do that 60, 70, 80 times at full force. Because all we know is velo. Everything's got to be hard. You can't throw a soft pitch up there. No. It's got to be 100 miles an hour in the first inning. I'd run for commissioner, but there's no need. It won't happen. But somebody of like mind needs to take over this beset real fast. I'm concerned for the game that I love, and I will leave it at that. Would love to hear what you all have to say. So, like, comment, subscribe, hit the ringy dingy, say all. You need more of this digital goodness, even when I'm on curmudgeon attack, such as I am today. I'll probably come up with a happier one next week. But would love to see some more interaction with the channel. Hope to hear from you soon. Next week it should be on Monday. I'll see what I can do to do something a little more happy. But I'm going to go from professional league to professional league, I think, for the next few weeks, and talk about the state of each sport. I think that would be nice. If you have any ideas, throw them in the comments as well. Positive, negative, not fragile. I will look forward to seeing you next week. Peace out, me homies.